He found tiny footprints after the blizzard, and then the baby Bigfoot appeared, crying for help. What would you do in that situation? For one man, this wasn't just a hypothetical question. It was the beginning of the most unbelievable week of his life. The storm had been brutal, a blizzard that buried everything under a thick, silent blanket of white. John, a retired forest ranger living in a remote cabin, was used to the harsh winters of the Pacific Northwest. He loved the isolation, the quiet crackle of the fireplace, and the way the snow muffled the world. But this morning, something was different. As he shoveled a path from his door, a line of tiny, strange footprints caught his eye. They were too small for a bear cub, too odd for a raccoon. They looked almost human, but not quite. They were wide, with long, splayed toes. Curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed his heavy coat and followed the tracks, which led him deeper into the dense, snow-laden forest. The silence was absolute, broken only by the crunch of his boots. The tracks were fresh, and they told a story of stumbling and struggle. After about half a mile, he heard it, a faint, high-pitched, whimpering sound. It was a cry of distress, lonely and desperate. John moved more cautiously now, his heart pounding a little faster. He pushed aside a snow-covered fir branch and froze. There, huddled at the base of a massive, ancient cedar tree, was a small, furry creature. It was no bigger than a human toddler, covered in shaggy, reddish-brown fur from head to toe. Its large, dark eyes were filled with tears and a look of pure terror. Its little face was contorted in a silent sob, and it was shivering uncontrollably. It was, without a doubt, a baby Bigfoot, a baby Sasquatch. All the stories he'd heard, all the local legends he'd dismissed as folklore, were staring him right in the face. This tiny being was real, and it was in trouble. John's years as a ranger kicked in. He saw a creature in distress. Nothing more, nothing less. He slowly crouched down, keeping a safe distance, and spoke in a low, gentle voice. "Hey there, little fella. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The baby Bigfoot flinched, pulling its arms around its knees, trying to make itself even smaller. Its whimpers grew louder. John could see its little chest heaving with each panicked breath. Where was its mother? A protective mother Sasquatch was not something he ever wanted to encounter. He scanned the surrounding woods, his senses on high alert. But there was nothing. No massive tracks, no warning growls, just the eerie silence of the post-blizzard woods. The baby was alone. He realized the little one wouldn't survive long in these temperatures. It was already showing signs of hypothermia. He had to make a decision. Leaving it here felt like a death sentence. But taking it home, that was insane. This was an unknown species, a creature of myth. What could he even do for it? But looking into those soulful, terrified eyes, he couldn't just walk away. Carefully, he unzipped his large parka, creating a warm, inviting space. He moved a little closer, speaking softly. "Come on. You're freezing. Let's get you warm." He held out a hand, palm up, a gesture of peace. The baby watched him, its cries softening to a quiet whimper. It seemed to understand. After a long, tense moment, it hesitantly uncurled and took a clumsy step towards him. It was a leap of faith for both of them. The baby stumbled into his arms, surprisingly light. It was all fluff and trembling limbs. As soon as it felt the warmth of his body, it burrowed deep into his coat, letting out a soft, sigh-like sound. It was a sound of relief. John zipped the coat up loosely around the little creature, its furry head peeking out near his chin. Its large, expressive eyes blinked slowly, looking up at him with a mixture of fear and newfound trust. The walk back to the cabin was surreal. John felt the little one's heart beating against his own chest. What had he just done? He had a baby Bigfoot in his jacket. No one would ever believe this. They got inside the warmth of the cabin, a welcome relief. He gently placed the baby on a soft sheepskin rug near the crackling fireplace. The little creature curled up immediately, soaking in the heat, its shivering slowly. John watched it for a long time. It was so much like a human child, yet so wild and different. He warmed some milk, not knowing what else to do, and offered it in a shallow bowl. The baby sniffed it curiously, then lapped it up eagerly, its little pink tongue darting out. When it was done, it looked up at John and made a soft, rumbling purr. It was a sound of contentment. Over the next few days, a strange and wonderful routine developed. John named him Buddy. Buddy would follow John around the cabin like a furry shadow. He was incredibly intelligent, quickly learning to communicate with a series of chirps, grunts, and surprisingly complex hand gestures. He loved to play peekaboo behind the furniture and would let out what sounded like a deep, rumbling giggle when John found him. He was gentle, curious, and had an old soul in his young eyes. John felt a connection to Buddy that he hadn't felt in years. The lonely cabin no longer felt empty. It was filled with the soft padding of little feet and the happy rumbles of a creature that should unexist. But as the days passed, John felt a growing sense of unease. He knew this couldn't last. Buddy was a wild animal, a very, very special wild animal. He belonged with his own kind. Somewhere out there, a mother was surely grieving, searching for her lost child. One evening, as the sun set, painting the snow-covered mountains in hues of pink and orange, John heard a new sound from the edge of the woods. It wasn't a growl or a threat. It was a low, mournful, three-toned call that echoed through the valley. A call that was both powerful and heartbreaking. Buddy's head shot up. His ears twitched. He let out a high-pitched answering chirp. The call from the woods came again, closer this time. John's heart sank. He knew this was it. He opened the cabin door. The cold air rushed in. Buddy looked at John, then towards the door, then back at John. He walked over and hugged John's leg, pressing his furry face against his jeans. It was a clear gesture of goodbye and of thanks. John knelt down and stroked his head one last time. "Go on, Buddy," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "Your family is here." Buddy gave him one last look with those big, intelligent eyes. A look that John would never forget. Then, he turned and bounded out into the snow. A small, determined figure heading towards the sound. John watched from the doorway as a massive, dark shape emerged from between the trees. It was easily 9 feet tall. Mother. Mother. She knelt down, and Buddy ran into her enormous, open arms. She held him close, rocking him gently, making a soft crooning sound. She then looked towards the cabin, directly at John. There was no menace in her gaze, only what looked like ... gratitude. She gave a slow, deliberate nod, a clear acknowledgement of what he had done. Then, she stood up, holding her baby securely, and disappeared back into the shadows of the forest as silently as she had come. The cabin was quiet again. The silence that he once cherished now felt heavy and empty. John stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where they had vanished. He hadn't taken any pictures. Ellie. It would just be another one of his crazy old man stories. But he didn't care. He knew what had happened. For a few magical days, he had been a guardian to a legend. He had looked into the eyes of the impossible and had been shown nothing but kindness and trust. And as he closed the door, he knew his life and his view of the world would never be the same again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incredible tales from the wild. See you next time.